I'm Robert McBride, and this is Everyday People, a program in which we investigate the lives of people making a difference in our community. Good morning, this is Robert McBride, Director of the Rockingham Arts and Museum Project, with another episode of Everyday People. Today we are going to be talking with David Stern from Main Street Arts about this great theater collaboration he's been working on and is coming to fruition July 6th through 9th. It's the Great River Theater Festival. And it's amazing what he's done, and having run a not-for-profit arts organization myself, and the amount of organization and coordination you try to put in bringing people together, he's put together and a really amazing thing. So welcome, David.
Thanks so much.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
We like to start at the very beginning. So what is the Great River Theater Festival?
So the Great River Theater Festival is an outcropping of an outreach to create the Four-County Theater Collaborative, which was Main Street Arts felt that there were a number of siloed theater companies in the region, all working independently, and that if we found a way to more effectively communicate and pool resources, we would all be more successful. So we met, and over time we ended up with 18 companies involved.
Wow.
That range all the way from Claremont right now down to West Chesterfield and Brattleboro up to Springfield.
Great.
And the goals, 3 main initiatives came out of that. One was a shared calendar, which is in process, where people can, anyone from actors who want to see what different companies are doing to organizations that are trying to schedule what productions they want to have when, to
theater scouts,
people
scouting talent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we put together a resource. We want to develop a shared resource database.
Right.
So if you want props, costumes, set pieces, there will be a place that you can go. Ideally, the dream is with photos and so on like that, and who has it and where it is. And that right now has been started by Arts Alive in Keene, which has a Facebook page that is doing that sharing.
Great.
And then the Theater Festival was the third major outcropping initiative that came out of that. And the festival, the main drive behind the festival was because we're in just 4 counties, maybe that sounds like a lot, but Cheshire and Sullivan and Windham and Windsor.
I love it that it's both sides of the river, because there's a lot of that initiative.
Right, and so a lot of us go to see. We share audiences, we share cast members, we share all kinds of stuff. And we thought maybe we'll be more effective in pulling audience from a larger pool if we create something large once a year. It'll help market us, it'll help market the region, it should be an economic driver for the region, and maybe over time we'll have people from Boston, certainly Northampton, Amherst area of Montreal, that come down and stay, or come up and stay a week to see a lot of theater.
Right.
In a beautiful environment. So that was the idea. The concept initially was for 2 weekends, 10 days. We thought for the first year, let's see how it goes.
Right.
We'll do 1 weekend, it's 4 days, July 6th through 9. And we reached out, and we have 7 companies involved out of the 18 that were part of the collaborative. Wow. There may have been more. Admittedly, I am doing some work to curate, so that we're really trying to pick people that are sort of solid and prepared, in terms of their infrastructure and all that, to offer really strong work.
Right.
It is our first festival, and we hope over time that we'll have more experimental companies and different companies,
Yeah.
and that the whole thing will expand.
And of course, you want it, to be based on quality, because that's for the community and for the people coming to see it. The level of the quality of the work is really important.
So we wanted some diversity in the work. So we have, I think, a nice sampling of that. We have the Weston Playhouse is bringing Really Rosie with their young company.
Great.
Sandglass Theater is doing a puppet piece, When I Put on Your Glove, which is one of Eric Bass's signature pieces that now Shoshana's taking over.
Great.
NEYT is bringing an original commedia. Apron Theater is bringing Mother Courage, so we have a classic play. We're bringing Little Shop of Horrors, so we have two musicals. Ours is Really Rosie's really very sort of youth and family focused. Ours is a little bit edgier than that, although Little Shop is certainly pretty friendly to different groups. And Actors Theater Playhouse is bringing a selection from their 10-minute play festival, and we also are bringing a one-act, so we'll be working together with them to put on a short play offering. And Vermont Theater Company is going to do an outdoor Shakespeare.
Great.
So it's
that's great.
Really across the board.
So through this, you're mentioning the collaboratives, and this probably has given you a focus to dip your feet into some collaborative advertising concept, around specifically this, but maybe as you step back to think about some collaborative advertising over the year to support the newspapers that are good enough to publish our press releases. And, different ways people you might have the big event in July, someone may have it in August, so they get the bigger section. But, I think the idea of also collaboratively working on that, would be great to get into the sensibility of the community.
Yeah, a good idea. I haven't really thought that through.
Yeah, Ramp has been thinking about that for years, about like, how do we do it? Because, we all say, oh, we don't have to give the newspapers any money. They just publish our press releases. Well, guess what? The press releases do not need to be published. They could not do them. And they are trying to run a business too. So, every once in a while, it makes sense to try to invest in a little bit of advertising. And you guys have been very consistent in that, which has been terrific. So I like the idea that there's these 4 kind of counties and on both sides of the river. That's
great. Actually where the Great River Theater Festival came from.
Yeah.
It turns out, who knew that the Connecticut River was initially called the Great River?
Yeah.
Somebody knew, but it wasn't me.
Yeah.
And it just seems to work that all these companies really do flank the river on both sides.
Right. So let's while we're in the middle of the program, mention some of the specifics about the festival. So it is running July 6th through 9th. Which is, what day of the week are those?
It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Great, okay.
We open, Little Shop is opening the festival on the Thursday evening at Landmark.
Okay.
And Really Rosie is the only show closing the festival on Sunday evening at Next Stage.
Okay, and the venues that are involved in Putney are?
Next Stage, Landmark, and Sandglass.
Okay, so those 3 venues are
And there'll also be the outdoor Shakespeare, that'll be on the lawn right in front in the center on the green.
On the green there.
Yeah.
Great. So you need to bring your own little blanket or chair or something like that to the event. Great.
And we'll be, we're working, again, the goal is really also economic strengthening of the region. So we're working with local food establishments, the general store, the Gleanery, Katie's, some of the food trucks, so on like that, and trying to bring people together for that. And the porches will be open, and we'll be doing little performances from the porches and decorating, and hopefully a fun time for all.
Right. And how do the performances run? Are they all in the evening, the afternoon? Is it a combination?
There are matinees. Thursday is just evening. Every other day is matinee and evening shows. And I don't think there's a matinee on Friday. So just Saturday and Sunday are matinee and evening shows.
Okay.
And we do have the Shakespeare's going to actually be at 10 a.m. on Saturday.
Okay.
So all day Saturday there should be theater happening.
So, and the Sandglass Theater, that's a relatively small theater. right?
It's quite small.
It accommodates how many people?
60 something.
Okay.
62, I think.
Right. And then you probably is next stage the next biggest venue and the one at
Next
Landmark.
stage, yep. Next stage is a little over 200
Okay.
when they bring in the extra seats, and
Okay.
Landmark is 380.
Great, great. So tell us about ticketing and prices, and can you get a pass that allows you to see several things? How are you trying to work this?
So ticketing, the best way to handle ticketing is go to the GreatRiverTheaterFestival.org website.
Okay.
And you can do all your ticketing there. There you can see individual shows. I think most of the shows, there are different pricing for different shows. The one act selection is less expensive than the musicals. The musicals, I think, they're $20 a ticket. But you can see all 7 shows that are running for $50.
Whoa.
That's the festival pass. And you can get all that. You can go through the mainstreetarts.org website also, but GreatRiverTheaterFestival.org has more information specifically festival.
Yeah, and I would imagine the different organizations also, have this up on their websites or links back to you guys. So if you know
Indeed.
Sandglass, you go, oh, Sandglass, then you can get to the bigger festival.
And you can go both ways. If you want to find out more about a specific production, you can jump back to their website from the festival website.
Right. The other thing I really like, about what you've naturally and organically grown since you've been kind of working hard at Main Street Arts with the different productions you've been doing over the last couple of years, is that the Vermont Arts Council is kind of working on this initiative called the Vermont Creative Network. And you and I've vaguely touched on that, and I know you and I have to have some more follow-up conversations about it. But they're kind of looking at Vermont as like maybe 6 or 7 zones of organization. And what they're really trying to do is exactly what you've done with this festival, put a group of people together in touch with each other to be building something and kind of try to get out of the silos. It's a kind of thing. And this is an exact outgrowth of that. It's like e pluribus unum. It makes sense, to connect. Of all the theater companies, I'm kind of wondering how many are like kind of year-round theater companies, how many are sort of maybe summer stock, or does it even break down that way?
Weston is a summer company.
Yeah.
I don't know if VTC is year-round, but they always do the Shakespeare in the summer.
Yeah, okay.
I think they probably do. Most of us are, amateur community companies.
Right.
Sandglass is a professional company. The Weston is a professional company. But these are all companies like NEYT that have some traction.
Yeah,
They've been at this for a
absolutely. while,
and that was the goal, as I said, in terms of trying to put together a really solid program for the first time. And I do feel that when we first started, when we met as the collaborative, there were some people that voiced an expression basically that said, well, we have to just acknowledge we're in competition. And I really don't acknowledge that. My experience has been that collaboration, which is sort of the opposite of competition, is really where we're going to find greater strength for our individual companies.
Right.
And I think that's actually the feeling on more, among more of the artisans that are doing this work than not. And my experience, just doing Sweeney Todd, where we had people from Sandglass and especially from NEYT and from NECA and a variety of local companies, we were strengthened so much by their work and strength and what they had built already. It made Sweeney a much better show.
Right.
And I hope that we do the same. We did a collaboration with NEYT. I did the set for Mary Poppins, and then Sandy came and did costumes for Sweeney.
Right.
That kind of thing, if I can bring expertise to someone else and they're willing to share as well, we make better work.
Right. And I think the thing that I found that, where collaboration is so successful is that you're not trying to, you're not trying to bring someone in to convince them of something. You're like working with people that are kind of naturally want to come together with share when the collaboration gets going. And it's not that, if something can't fall flat on its face, but you still have this spirit of working together and bringing to the table different skill sets that your organization may have stronger than the other. I mean, even in the sense you were mentioning about the costume sharing and the this and that. I mean, that just must be huge, to sort of have kind of a resource handle on costumes across the board and know that because you're part of this, you can kind of get access to this
If we
stuff.
really, and the goal was we would actually have a specific protocol and agreement, and everybody had to sign on to share. You can't decide to pull and not give.
Right.
And it really, I think the only thing between a much stronger network than what we have and where we are now is time. I think everybody's will and generosity is in exactly the right place, but building that database and getting it up and maintaining it is some work.
Yeah. No, and I remember when you said you were going to do Sweeney Todd, and Ramp was supportive of the idea of you using the Opera House and doing that, which was great. But I was thinking, oh gosh, is that really going to work? Is a Sondheim musical like that going to work? Like you said before, to fill that many times. And it was so exciting to see, because of what you had built and because of the quality of the work and the quality of the set and the production, and as you're telling me now, behind the scenes, all the collaboration that went into that with other organizations.
Yeah, we would
then
never.
It was just fantastic. But if Main Street Arts had just kind of done it as a thing, and you hadn't kind of built what you built.
If we hadn't had NEYT, for example, as a partner on that, dramatic reduction in quality, I think.
Yeah, and it was so amazing, and hope many of you got a chance to see it, because it was really a pretty spectacular
I'll put in a plug, just because, why not? We're looking at doing Jesus Christ Superstar at the Opera House this coming March, which already Sandy is on board, and we're starting to plan together.
Right.
Very exciting. The Opera House itself, the town, has found that, as it turns out, they can make more money than with a movie when we're in there.
Right.
So.
And just think of how many people, when I was sitting in there seeing it, because I saw it the last night, I think. It was Saturday was the last night, or was there a Sunday thing?
No,
Saturday.
Saturday was the last night.
And just the amount of people that brought into that building that maybe had never been to Bellows Falls, had never experienced it as a theater venue as opposed to a movie venue. And it's a great movie venue. But I just kept thinking, oh my God, this is what economic development is.
It was so exciting to look out the door and see Popolo's packed to the wall, and other restaurants in town people trying to find a way to get a meal.
Right.
Because restaurants were that tight.
Yeah.
And that's what we want.
Right.
We want to. I think the movies are also great. It is difficult for the movies, and they're very local. Many people go out to the movie, and that's what they do. They go to the movie, they get the popcorn, they go home. It's not as much of a let's make a night of it, let's get dinner out, and I think that's another nice economic driver that hopefully we bring.
Yeah, no, that's terrific. That's terrific. So you'll get through this festival. I'd like you to just kind of simply go over the facts again, the website, the tickets, and speak slowly so people can write it down.
For tickets, go to greatrivertheaterfestival.org. And even if you misspell it and you go theater, Theatre, it'll bounce you right over to the right place anyway.
Okay.
And you can also call 802-869-2960, which is Main Street Arts, and you can make reservations that way if you'd like. The event is July 6th through 9 in beautiful Putney. I will say that next year, the plan is that there will be a next year.
Okay.
And that we
like
will
that.
Do another Great River Theater Festival. And the festival is going to move every year, highlighting different localities within the 4 counties of the Theater Collaborative. The plan is that next year we'll be in Rockingham. So we are excited to host. We're not sure exactly which venues.
Right.
We're hoping that we can use the Opera House actually for that as well. We will be at Main Street Arts. We might be at Horowitz at VA. We may be in the Wyndham. We'll find out.
Yeah.
One of the schools, but hopefully we'll be here next year.
Oh, that'd be terrific. That'd be terrific. And then what are some of the other things, I know you'll get through this, but knowing you, I know you probably have things just popping out. And with theater, you have to have things planned long in advance. But if you manage to take a little time off this summer, what are some of the other projects that might be happening late summer into the fall?
We had a plan to do the Spitfire Grill, starring Cass Morgan, who's a Broadway veteran who's also on our board and who has expressed interest in doing a show with us. She just got a wonderful gig in New York, so she is not going to do that, and we're going to put that off a year. So we're looking for a new show that we're going to do this fall. Following that, we're going to jump into Superstar. Following that, we're looking at a production of Noises Off. So I don't want to promise anything because the season's in a little bit of flux right now. Because we were pretty solid and now we're shifting around.
Right. And then Little Shop of Horrors is opening at Main Street Arts the next weekend, did you say?
Next weekend, the 29th, running 29, 30, and July 1st. So then we have 5 days to move it from Main Street Arts down to Putney and then Landmark. That's going to be quite a thing. We actually don't get into Landmark until the 5th, so we have a day and a half to load in the whole set and lighting. But we love a challenge.
Yes. You've got to love a challenge. It's theater.
Yeah.
It's theater. And if you like to see performances, you can see it in the one venue and then track it down in Putney, see how the piece evolves, how it's different in a different setting.
Yeah. Little Shop is a great comedy.
Yeah,
it's a great piece of work. It's Alan Menken did the music for that before, The Little Mermaid and all of his Disney accomplishments, and he did it with Howard Ashman, who's just an unbelievable writer. It's just a great classic.
Right. And David, if you could just kind of, can you kind of tick off again the people that are making up this theater collaboration with you?
The companies?
The companies, yeah, because it's so great, and for people to know that. It's out of Putney.
Sandglass Theater, puppet. They do a lot of puppet work at Putney. Apron Theater, which is the house company at Next Stage. NEYT, Actors Theater Playhouse in West Chesterfield, Vermont Theater Company, and the Weston Playhouse.
That's right. It's great. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show and sharing some of the great stuff you're working on.
Always
and this
a pleasure.
is just, I just love what you've done with this, and I know how much work this collaboration is to move forward.
We hope it works.
Yeah.
Because we've built some infrastructure, and we hope that we can rest a little bit on it next year as we go into year 2.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So this is Robert McBride again from the Rockingham Arts and Museum Project. I'd like to thank Fact TV again for being such an open resource for the community to share this kind of programming and get the word out about what's happening in our community. And I'd also like to thank underwriters of the Rockingham Arts and Museum Project, the Vermont Arts Council, the National Endowment for the Arts, Chroma Technology, First Light, formerly of Sovereignnet in downtown Bellows Falls, still here, and all you people and individuals that support the Rockingham Arts and Museum Project. So thank you very much. RAMP would like to acknowledge organizations that help make this program possible through Fact TV, including the Vermont Arts Council, the National Endowment for the Arts, Chroma Technology, the Wyndham Foundation, and Stewart Property Management.